Hello, good morning. I'm Sonia Bendjaffer Yousef, and I'm really delighted and honored to be here today to present you a very important subject, which is the brain-gut connection. Everyone is asking me how can we explain actually the relationship between our brain and gut. And it has been known for about some times actually. The gut is linked to our brain via the vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve is part of the autonomic nervous system, as we can see it here on the right hand side. It actually, what does it do? It tells us when to breathe, to digest and swallow food automatically, the rest and digest state that we are in. So the brain receives messages from our gut, and the gut receives messages from the brain. So, for example, the brain can control how we digest our food, and the gut can control our level of hunger. In addition, the gut has its own local nervous system operating entirely independently to the brain called the enteric nervous system, ENS. This so-called second brain also receives signals from our brain via the vagus nerves. So, what is precisely the brain-gut axis? It's a two-way communication system. It starts with the CNS, the central nervous system. So the brain communicates directly with the gut through neural pathways. Then the enteric nervous system, the ENS, the second brain found in the gut, responds to the brain signals. The vagus nerve regulation, it controls bidirectional communications between brain and gut. And the gut microbiota has a huge influence. The beneficial bacteria impact mental health through immune pathways. So that's why it's very important to have a beneficial bacteria. So the brain gut axis is a bidirectional communication network that connects the central nervous system, CNS, with the enteric nervous system, ENS, often referred to as the second brain, found in the gut, as we just saw. The system is regulated by the vagus nerve, immune pathway, and the gut microbiota. So we can see here that you have the brain that influences on weight gain, for instance, bowel movements, nutrient delivery, microbial balance, and also the gut influences on the brain via neurotransmitters, our state and emotional states like stress and anxiety, our mood, and our behavior. This is really phenomenal. The gut-brain connections is something that has already been clinically proven. For instance, we have clinical studies that confirms that dysbiosis and inflammation in the gut health can disrupt the delicate brain-gut axis. So that's why it's very important to take care of our gut first and foremost. And also, these gut disturbances directly influence mental health, increasing risk factors for depression and anxiety disorder. And researchers demonstrates that gut inflammation can contribute to cognitive dysfunction through inflammatory pathway. There's a very important point, actually, that I would like to emphasize here. It's one of the pathways is the gut microbiome and the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal, the HPA axis, because stress is we really need to manage stress because stress also influences on the gut situation. The gut microbiome and the HPA axis is actually a link that we have to take care of on a daily basis, because acute stress has a limited effect on the gut microbiota from times to times. But however, chronic stress may cause a clinically meaningful imbalance in the microbial community. So with increased level of cortisol, there is an increased level of permeability of the gut, called leaky gut, which then facilitate a systemic inflammatory response. So in order to have a very healthy gut, we also need to take care of our emotions and to handle and manage the stress on top of the nutrition. So here, in such overactivation, stress hormones negatively influence our immune system, driving inflammation, which leads to gut wall damage or leaky gut, and also an imbalanced gut ecosystem, as you can see here on the left part. It is then a vicious cycle where the imbalance in bacteria impacts mental health via the similar pathways. So, working to rebalance the gut ecosystem through a diverse, mainly plant based diet rich in pre and probiotics to support the level of good bacteria may lower actually the stress responses and improve the mood. So, yes, indeed, the gut does directly impact our mental health. So, how do nutritions also impacts emotional health? We have the neurotransmitter synthesis, for instance, the tryptophan from turkeys or bananas or oat. It is a precursor to serotonin, the mood stabilizing hormone. We have also blood sugar balance. The refined carbohydrates cause spikes and crashes in glucose, affecting mood, focus, and energy. We have also to take care of the gut microbiota regulation by adding fiber and fermented foods, for instance, to support beneficial bacteria, which produce short-chain fatty acids that reduce inflammation and protect brain function also. And deficiencies in B vitamins, that's very important, or magnesium, zinc, and omega-3 fatty acids are commonly linked to poor mood, fatigue, and cognitive declines. And we do have a lot of studies, medical studies actually here. So yes, indeed, the nutrients influence brain function through several mechanisms. First, the neurotransmitter productions. All the essential nutrients serve as precursor for neurotransmitters that regulate the mood, cognition, and emotional response. And also, nutrients provide the necessary building blocks for optimal brain energy production and cellular repair mechanism. And last but not least, the dietary components influence gut microbiota composition, which affects inflammation pathways and brain functions. That's very important. And there are a growing body of research in nutritional psychiatry that demonstrates that targeted dietary intervention can support treatments of mood disorders, including mild to moderate depression and anxiety. Diet is so very much important. It's actually the building blocks that you put in your body and also in your mental. So the emotional impact of inflammation. So if someone, a clinical case, have a poor diet and a gut imbalance, it triggers chronic low-grade inflammation throughout the body. That's the first phase. Second phase, it directly impairs the neuroplasticity, since inflammations reduces the brain's ability to adapt, form new connections. The three, as we mentioned, for the stress, the HPA axis activation, the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis triggers stress response. And that's why we really need to work on our stress. And emotional dysregulation results in mood swings, irritability, and brain fog. So, what I would like to emphasize here is that everything is linked and it's like a circle. So, that's why gut health and the microbiome is very important. And that's usually the first thing that we take care of. There is indeed an emotional impact of inflammation. A chronic low-grade inflammation, often fueled by poor diet and gut imbalance, can impair the brain's ability to form new neural connection and adapt to changes. We have to take care of the HPA axis activation. And indeed, inflammation doesn't just affect the body, it directly influences on how we feel, think, and emotionally respond to our environment, resulting in mood swings, irritability, and also brain fogs. It's all the neurodegenerates, actually. So now, with us, women hormones and the nutritional mental health links. So, women are particularly sensitive to the interplay between hormones and nutrition and mood, as you can know. Nutrient dense diets rich in iron, omega 3s, B6 is very important, and essentially magnesium support. It supports hormonal balance. It reduces PMS and perimenopausal symptoms and improves the stress resilience, emotional clarity, and calm. And additionally, emotional labor, societal expectations, and caregiving roles place women at higher risk of nutrient depletion and burnout. So, nutrition becomes not just self care, it's essential health care. So, we need a nutrient dense diet and we have to take care of our stress in order to have emotional clarity. So once again, our emotional clarity comes by the nutrition and the stress management. So what are the recommendations and actionable strategies that I can give you? So first of all, prioritize gut-friendly nutrition. That's very important. Include probiotic fibers like onions, garlic, asparagus, and probiotic. Yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut is excellent daily. Eliminate ultra-processed foods. Eliminate all oily foods. And if you really want to do a detox, eliminate also sugar, of course, and gluten, which cause main inflammation in the body. Support neurotransmitter production. That's very important. Try to have protein at every meal, especially legumes and quinoa for amino acids. Eat complex carbs to stabilize serotonin release. Also, you can use anti-inflammatory foods. The queen one, which is turmeric, of course, or ginger, leafy greens, and fatty fish reduce brain inflammation. The fourth point is to hydrate and mineralize. So drink filtered water and mineral-rich herbal infusion and mineral-rich water also, and be very, very cautious of the quality of your water. That's very important. And also, you need to regulate the meal timing for the circadian rhythm of the body. Eat mindfully and consistently to prevent blood sugar crashes and adrenal strain. When I say consistently, I say try to have the same hours every day, that to have a specific timing. That's very important. So now the final reflection. Nourishment as emotional power. So I see it like a beautiful pyramid. The basis being intentional nourishment, because food empowers the mind with clarity. The second part would be mind body connection. Healing the gut suits the soul. We just see it clinically and physically. Then, women are the heartbeat of communities. They're the leadership and they're the caregiving. So we really need to take care of them primarily. And they create thriving communities A well-nourished woman uplift those around them. That's so very true indeed. So when we nourish the body with intention, we empower the mind with clarity. Mental health is not separate from the food of our plate. It begins with it. And that's the main message of my presentation. Please take very good care of your nutrition. When we heal the gut, we soothe the soul. The mind body connection begins with what we consume and how we honor our digestive health. That's very important indeed. And as women, as leaders, and as caregivers, we are the heartbeat of our communities. When we are well fed, emotionally, spiritually, and nutritionally, we thrive and uplift those around us. So, thank you very much indeed. And I hope that the message is very clear. Please take very good care of your gut, take very good care of your nutrition in order to optimize your mind and your mental health. So, here you have my connections if you want to learn more about the subject. And I thank you so very much indeed. And I thank our beautiful and amazing company who is organizing the and Mr. Pravat and his amazing team. And I was really honored and delighted to open this magnificent and amazing event. Thank you so very much indeed.